Hello pandas. Strange times we're living in. A lot of people stuck inside. And some of us are not adjusting as well as others. But I'm here to remind you that it's not all bad. Personally, I've never been one to fixate on the negative and get bummed out. So if it's all right with you, I'd like to share some of my top reasons to be grateful during this quarantine crisis time. Now the first one on my mind is more time with family. Yes, it is definitely an extra challenge having the kids at home all the time when there's still things that need to get done, but it's not so much of a challenge that it overshadows how nice it is to have the little ones around.
Careful not to drop it in first, and then we want to make sure it's really tight on there. Oh, that was a good toss. Oh, that's not enough of a flip.
Oh! Yeet! Oh! Explosion! Oh God.
Oh, look out!
That's creepy! That's what she said. Oh!
Oh, it's all over the camera! Was it worth it?
Breathtaking!
Oh, this is going kind of flat because of the everything. Also, I'm very sticky. Last one!
3, 2, 1.
Oh no!
So let's call it an extended spring break and make the most of it, because they don't stay small for long. And if you don't have little ones, well, there's still lots of time to enjoy together. Number 2, we've all got more time to play board games, to play video games, to read books, to catch up on Netflix. Whatever it is you never have enough time to do while you're chilling, you're welcome. And that leads beautifully into my third thing, one of the greatest inventions of all time, the internet. Sure makes this a lot easier. I mean, we can stream things like Netflix or all of the other things that are like Netflix or YouTube, not to mention online gaming, and it makes it so easy to connect with people that we can't actually go and see. I'm not sure if many of you are out there Skyping or whatever people use these days. Personally, I haven't had to. I've got a lot of roommates. I should probably call my mom. Next on my list is the ability to work from home. Now that only applies to a small portion of my income, but there are a lot of people that are now realizing just how much office work can be done at home. And this could possibly change the way we view that kind of work, and maybe more people than ever will be able to do just that. The next one, and I think we're at number 5, this one you may have seen, the pollution is way down, and that's largely because a lot of industries have been shut down, but also because people aren't driving everywhere and they're just sticking to the essentials. Look at so the pollution map of everything produced in China, for one example, is way down. And then how about the canals in Venice, normally just full of mud and nothing lives in them? Now they're actual clear waterways, and I think there's even fish. There were probably fish before. Anyways, things are clean, and it's brilliant and beautiful. And maybe if people recognize how much nicer that is, they might just preserve it a bit and minimize how much, I'm not holding my breath. Anyway, for now, it's a really nice thing. Speaking of people with jobs, I think that's the biggest thing to be grateful for right now. Above all else, those blue-collar workers, the minimum wage workers, obviously the nurses and the doctors and all the healthcare professionals, like major shout out, and the biologists, but others, the ones that keep the services going, the ones that we see every day and often maybe don't think about. People working in fast food, people working in grocery stores, people working in gas stations, people driving trucks, people who are working in Walmart, the people who are driving trucks to pick up your garbage, all of these jobs that are still running, the essential services. We don't necessarily appreciate those people all the time, but they're the real heroes that are keeping things running. And we should start tipping them or something. I'm not pointing fingers or talking to anybody in particular when I say that It would be brilliant if once all this is over, things go back to normal or some version of normal, we keep this in mind and remember the people who actually kept everything running so that we could continue to live our lives, still fill up our cars and purchase groceries to feed our families, and just have an extra level of appreciation because they're putting themselves at risk. I know they're not doing it out of the good of their hearts, they're doing it because the same reason any of us go to work, but they don't necessarily get the respect they deserve. Maybe that could change? Tip your server. Speaking of appreciating people, that's the next one on my list, is there is so much more support for people in need right now. I'm talking about things like early seniors only shopping hours, because we've all seen the pictures of the stores that just torn up with no toilet paper or sanitation products or anything. Well, a 70-year-old is not going to win a fight over a bottle of hand sanitizer. In Calgary, they've got 1 hour early in the morning for seniors only to do their shopping. Again, I don't know how things are being done in your community, but in Calgary, they're working to get all of the homeless people off the street, and any hotels that have rooms available, they're stuffing them in there so they can stick to the self-isolation and minimize the impact of this business. It's kind of a shame we don't do that more often as a regular thing, but at least for right now, we're helping everybody who needs it. Speaking of for now, I'm so glad we can still go outside. Not to the theater or to the sports ball game, but at least, we can step outside and walk our dogs and enjoy the weather that is finally turning around. It's brilliant out there. Take a walk. Enjoy the little things. Speaking of the little things and walking your dog, gotta appreciate your pets. We don't have dogs here. We've got 2 cats, but they are such little fluffy balls of love. That's not really my thing. I don't know why I did that, but I do appreciate those affectionate little balls of fluff. Another one that I bet a lot of us take for granted most of the time, but are probably thinking about right now, is our health. Your ability to breathe, or at least take a decently big one, your motor functions and your body, how it generally probably works pretty good. And if you are one of the people suffering, our healthcare professionals, and the fact that we have the technology and the exchange of information, and there are so many people figuring this out as quickly as possible. It's a pretty brilliant time. Now here's one, it's a bit bittersweet, and I know it's not necessarily a good thing, but there's so much less traffic on the road. I know we're not really supposed to be out there enjoying it, but you can still go for a drive, and what a wonderful thing it is to go for a drive right now when traffic is just not even a thing. Maybe you live in a smaller town and that's not typically a problem, but in larger cities, I'm sure you've been in rush hour trying to get home or with things to do, and it just takes a million years to get anywhere. Well, that's not a problem anymore. And maybe it won't be as much if people just manage to keep their work from home jobs. Who knows? And in addition to that, the price of gas. And that's part of the double-edged. I know when gas is cheap, that's not a good thing for the economy. But as far as at the pump goes, it's pretty great for my economy to be able to fill up for almost half as much. I know that has serious long-term ramifications and it's not good, but it feels pretty good at the time, and that's one thing to smile about. Now, the last one I was able to think of, and I'm hoping this applies to you, is all the good food I've been eating. Pretty much everybody I live with is on EI and can't go to work, so we've all got time and we've been taking turns cooking and having actual home-cooked meals, and everybody's got time in between to think of the next thing they're gonna make. And Sam did a chicken casserole, Quinn did steak, I did a roast, David made pierogies, like legit made pierogies at home. I can't remember everything else, but having actual family dinners where nobody's out at work late and everybody's sitting down and enjoying whatever so-and-so just prepared for everyone. Oh, it warms my heart. And I just thought of another one that I could quickly add because I'm just thinking about how I need to pack up and move over the next month, is that now we've got time to do things like a honey-do list. Maybe if you're not married, you don't have a honey-do list, but you probably still have a to-do list. Well, now we can catch up on all those things that we never get to do because we haven't gotten around to it. And I can't believe I almost forgot this one. Our apocalypse gear. I mean, we shouldn't be going out, but when you absolutely have to, this is the perfect time to pull out, well, okay, so not everybody has this, but some of us are used to wear this kind of stuff for fun. Not necessarily just cyber goth situations, but now you can wear it out in public and nobody blinks an eye because it's just totally normal. Fair warning though, you probably can't find or afford a face mask that will actually protect you from viruses. So they mostly just exist to prevent you from touching the orifices on your face. So really, you just have fun with it. There's a lot to smile about. I think a little levity and mirth will help us get through this just fine. So let me know if you might be interested in video games I've been playing, or my board game recommendations, because we're definitely a board game house, or even recipe ideas, because I've got quite a few and I am all about cooking on a budget. Maybe if these would help you, let me know. I'd be happy to put something together. Either way, I hope this has helped. I hope you're leaving it better than you found it. And keep washing your hands.